What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. If you like what you see, check out the entire episode at patreon.com/partywithstrategy. Every single week is a bonus episode. That's 4 episodes a month for $5. In a time where everything's overpriced, we're bringing back the clearance rack, baby. Let's go, champ. We'll see you over there. Enjoy the preview. Welcome back to the Party with Strategy podcast. Very special guest in the building. Emilee Rose is joining us. Hello, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
First podcast, right?
First podcast.
We're just taking podcast virginities left and right over here at the Party with Strategy podcast. You are an industry veteran, right?
Yes.
Currently bartending?
Yes.
But have done it all?
Done it all.
Yeah.
There's not a thing in this industry that I haven't done.
You work the door?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I actually did.
As like
Country
a host, though, right? You
checking
read
IDs, taking money, making sure everybody up to dress code, all that kind of stuff. That was back in my Georgia days.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Where are you actually from? Because you've been all over, huh?
Yes. Originally from Augusta, Georgia. Moved all over South Carolina, Florida, all over Florida. And then Chicago, and then Wisconsin, and then back to Chicago.
What brought you to Chicago?
Work. My company moved me here about 2.5 years ago in March.
And you're still with them?
I'm still with them, yeah.
What company is that?
It is Hilton.
Oh, you're in hotels.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
in hotels. Been on and off in hotels for 15 years. I actually started with them, and then also started as a country club hostess as well back in Georgia.
I think there's a cat trying to get in here.
Oh.
Unless it's my girlfriend scratching at the door. I don't know. That's cool. So what are you doing for the Hilton?
So my last position, or my position that I held is a senior food and beverage manager. And then, so it's pretty much globally, been with them on and off, was also with the company as well, all throughout Florida. Was a brewer for them, a hostess for them as well, bartending. Like I said, done it all. I was talking to a friend a couple of days ago, and he was just like, is there a position in this industry that you haven't held? And I'm like, I've been anywhere from line cooks to busboy to hostess to I was a brewer of a company, beverage director, and there's not a position in this industry that I haven't held.
Dang, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite position of all of them that you've done? And I'm talking about working.
Yeah, we can get onto that topic as well, but bartending for sure. It's definitely been a passion of mine. That throughout my years, anywhere from loving beer, wine, cocktails, being a true mixologist, and holding so many hats behind the bar has been a true passion of mine. Coming up, creating cocktails, creating cocktail list has always been a real passion of mine. I also hold pretty much many hats as well. Has also gotten a couple of certificates throughout. So Cicerones, Psalms, Spirit Specialist, all those things as well.
Tight.
Yeah.
What makes Chicago the greatest city in the world to you to be in?
Did I say that?
I said that, and I just want you to co-sign it.
I don't know if for right now, it is really nice. When I first moved to Chicago, I hated it.
You did? Why?
I hated it. It was the people. I didn't know anybody. I held a higher position at the company that I worked for as well. And I really try to hold a standard of not hanging out with my employees, where it's, drinking, partying, trying to be in the same establishment as them as well. Of course, there's times where you can't help it. But I think Chicago is big enough to where I kind of felt alone too, where I was just like, I can't be friends with my bosses. I can't be friends with my employees. I moved here on a whim. I didn't know anybody. I was actually in between New York, Atlanta, and Miami as well during the time. There was just so many signs of Chicago, and I just said kind of fuck it and moved. And didn't see my apartment at first, didn't see anything, didn't know anything about the industry. Never had even stepped foot into Chicago. And I moved here, and it was fun at first. I did the whole city vibe. I lived in like penthouse, like suite, top floor.
Damn, they paying you well at the Hilton.
I did pretty well for myself, and but it just didn't feel right. I got a task force position in Lake Geneva in Wisconsin at Grand Geneva, and
That's my shit.
I loved
The Grand
it.
Geneva is my shit.
It was like old Playboy Mansion. We had J1s that were in from, I think it was like India. We had Turkish. They were like all these great, great kids. And it was so terrible because we had all of them staying where the old Playboy girls used to sleep.
It's not
And
a
I was
bad
like,
gig.
this is dirty. Like, there's probably still cum on the walls and shit. Like,
You guys didn't give it the old blacklight test?
I mean, no, the kids can find out for themselves. They got to learn somehow.
They got to do the smell test.
Little old scratch and sniff never hurt nobody.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah, getting used to it. You'll laugh a lot. But, no, I mean, it was fun. I did, there was 4 bars in town, but like I said, again, couldn't go anywhere without seeing anybody. And I kind of got sick of it. I was there for about 4 or 5 months and found myself coming back to Chicago every other weekend. And I was just like, oh,
Even though
maybe
you hated it. At that point, you still hated it.
And then I was like, maybe I do like it. And then I moved back. I did it right. And
What
love
is
my
doing
apartment.
it right?
I
entail?
love my apartment. I love the area I'm in. I'm still in Gold Coast area.
Okay.
I'm really, really close to work. So it was all the right things. And I felt like I have a really, really good girl group now. I have a good friend group, good friend basis. I love what I do. So it's just kind of, I think that I just needed to find my groove here. It's the first big city I've ever lived in. Bigger city. Lived in Miami for a little bit. Didn't really work out for me, but I wasn't there long enough. I did a lot of task force work with the company that I was with. We had restaurants all throughout Boca Raton, Orlando, Tampa. I stayed the most in Orlando. Fun fact, Orlando was actually probably my favorite city within Florida. Weird. People hate Orlando.
I'm not mad at it. We did a bachelor party there once. It was a good time.
Yeah, it's fun. A good downtown area, really, really good food scene. Probably one of the best sushi restaurants I've ever ate at. So it's such a good area, and I was right outside of it in Lake Nona. I mean, the company that I worked for had a brewing company there. They had hotels there. They had a little mini like ship container like kind of park. Really, really cool. 2 really, really nicer restaurants, gym, everything. Apartments that I lived in, it was right across the street from work. So I could walk to work and do kind of like whatever. And I kind of hold the same position now where I walk to work and then kind of can just kind of float throughout the city, wherever I want to go. Yeah.
That's tight.
Yeah.
So what was like, what clicked? What really made you start to lean into loving Chicago and you didn't hate it as much? Like what?
I think it was the people. There's just such good-hearted people here. People who also have a passion for the industry as well. I've never seen anything like it. In other states and other cities that I've lived in, they all kind of just did it to get through school. And this place is different. And it's so nice to have people that also share the same passion as you. Because it's weird because I always said, you have that one friend from high school that you can talk about high school things and you can kind of go the old route and go back home. You have these friends that, you can go out drinking with, and then you have these friends that you can have a real personal, like real life shit conversation with. And then you have people that like get you. And once in a lifetime, you'll get that one person that kind of gets you. I feel like here, there's a group. it just really, really gets you. And you can just kind of pick up where you left off, and it's good. It's a good feeling. And I think that that's what made me really, really fall in love with Chicago, was the people.
Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Midwest vibe is definitely top notch.
Yeah.
For sure. Nice, kind people. You're in a city, so people can be assholes for sure, but
Oh,
like
100%.
that's sort of part of it. Like sometimes you act like an asshole, not you personally, but sometimes everybody acts like an asshole, right? And you just gotta accept that, and that's
Yeah.
people. And you can tell who's like truly in their heart a bad person, or who's just being an asshole because they're running late or something. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And you gotta be able to see that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I love Chicago for that in and of itself. There's a lot of shit talking. There's a lot of like on purpose assholeness, but it's fun and it's not like actually malicious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like in this life you kind of just got to bob and weave, and it's kind of what I'm doing right now. So it's a good my time's kind of running up actually in Chicago.
What's next?
I think New Jersey. There's
Sorry
a
to hear
different
that.
light there. Yeah, honestly, it was a tough move.
Do you get to make that decision, or you just have to go wherever they put you?
As of lately, it was kind of wherever they put me, but on the next step, I'm actually taking my own route. I also own, just recently in February, I took over 3 companies that were half parted to me. Earlier on in the years, I had always hold a small ownership within the business, and I just took completely 100% ownership as of February.
What kind of business is it
I own 3 construction businesses back in Georgia
that you're operating from Chicago?
that are operating. I do all the books and everything like that. And then my uncle and then my father does a lot of the work as well. My father, not so much anymore. Kind of throwing that in there. My dad just recently became paralyzed from the waist down, which is why I took over. So it was kind of just one of those things where he can no longer obviously operate, but from a business standpoint, he still can. And then we have a lot of workers as well. So we hold 3 different ones, all construction, but we do residential, commercial, and then a lot of historic and vintage homes as well.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, so I kind of putting a twist on it, and think to kind of like open up my own like bar as a bartender, and as love for all beverages. I think everyone can say, especially if you've been a bartender for a really, really long time, you can go back behind the bar and know that it's like operational from like a actual like business standpoint. You go back behind the bar and you can tell right off bat, dishwasher's over here, sink's over here, whatever's over here. And you're just like, oh, somebody who has never stepped foot behind a real bar has never, like they did not make this bar. And that's what I kind of wanted to do. So I kind of wanted to put my passion also with the business, and I'm going to try to make that work.
Like a bar rescue kind of thing?
Kind of in a way, but probably just building, maybe even rebuilding bars, or either building bars from the ground up, which is what I would really like to do.
Yeah. When you get if you're opening a spot and you got to put a bar in there, isn't there like a foundation, like a frame for the bar itself, where the dishwasher is here and the rails go here and then there's this here? Isn't there like an already laid out thing, like a...
Now, if you're building from the ground up, I think that that's a different standpoint, because you can kind of make it your own. But if you're already if you're going into a already standalone business and you kind of try to like ground everything out, try to start like knock all the walls down, those type things, I think that that's definitely different, because there's already kind of a base. So like, you might be able to kind of pull out the bar a little bit more, make it a little bit larger or longer, however you want it to be, where the dishwasher might already be in place, or the back bar might already be in place. Let's just say you're building a brewery, then you have to put taps on the back wall, or maybe you're putting taps on the front bar, or any of those things. So it's just kind of depending on where your base and where your ground floor is. But I think it's just a little bit different whenever you already are behind a bar, especially starting new, because there could be the rails, and there could be 2 wells, or there could be 3 wells, and there could be maybe 2 dishwashers. So it kind of just really depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Party with Strategy podcast has a brand new sponsor. Make sure you guys go check out Rendezvous Limousine Services for any of your travel needs around the Midwest. It's the best you can get, top notch. Let's be honest, everyone's a little sick of buying Ubers, getting charged for Uber X's like they're black cars, and the market's just not what it used to be. You might as well go with your best bet, Rendezvous Limo Service. They got party buses, they got Sprinter vans, they got Escalades, they got Navigators. Only the best of the best. Make sure you check out Rendezvous Limousine. You can find them on Instagram at RNDZ Limo, or their website, Rendezvous Limousine. If you're grammatically challenged like myself, Rendezvous is RENDEZVOUS. And we might as well do limousine as well. LIMOUSINE. Rendezvous Limousine, best you can get anywhere you want to go in the Midwest. Airport pickups, drop-offs, party buses, just going to see a friend. Do it in style. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to the episode. Thank you guys for watching. Now, let me ask you this, as someone who's been in the industry for 16 years, right?
15 going on 16.
15 going on 16. What do you think makes a great DJ in an establishment that's serving alcohol?
You got to find your flow. I think really knowing and really reading the crowd. Like, I don't need to walk into a bar when there's 5 people, you're starting the night out, they open up at 10 o'clock, it's 10:15, and I hear like Tupac, or like maybe I hear like Biggie or something like that, and it's like the music is up loud as shit. It's the same thing with restaurants. It's the same thing with anywhere you go. You got to set the tone. I don't need it to be 7 o'clock at night. Everybody's trying to have a conversation. I can't hear myself fucking think. Like,
what about like mid-volume Tupac?
Oh yeah,
mid-volume Tupac's good.
Mid-volume Tupac.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but like I also don't need to hear like Boosie in the background either.
Well,
now
if
get
you're in
to 11
Louisiana,
o'clock and get me into like maybe 1 or 2 Jamesons, and I'll be on the dance floor, even on the bar, or on the floor, doing something. I don't know.
What's your go-to dance move?
Oh, you don't want to know that?
I think the people want to know. There might be enough room here for you to show us. If
y'all know me and have seen me out, you know what my fucking dance move is. It is hands and knees on the floor, shaking my ass.
Really? I would have never, I wouldn't have put you in that box.
Baby, this is all from Georgia. All from Georgia.
A lot of ass shaking in Georgia?
A lot of ass shaking in Georgia.
Okay.
Especially where I'm from.
What, like, where are you from? What's the town?
Ooh.
What's the city?
Augusta, Georgia.
Augusta, okay.
Yep. Raised on South Side. Paint the picture. Only white girl in high school, all throughout school. Only white girl in the neighborhood. And music playlist shows it. This ass shaking shows it. It's like it's there. There's a couple of different sides of Emilee. Everybody gets a little sprinkle of each. So but yeah, I owe it all to them. But playlist shows it, whether it be like Biggie, Jeezy, Boosie badass. 100% all the way.
You love Boosie, huh?
I love Boosie.
You got to go to Houston. They love him over there, too.
Oh, yeah. And in Louisiana.
Well, he's from there.
Yeah.
Houston, Louisiana.
And then Meek, of course.
Meek Mill? Even after the whole...
I don't care. Everybody takes it up the ass every once in a while.
Does that mean that it's coming for me? Because I have yet to do it. If everybody's doing it...
Everybody, the time will come.
Someone's
it might not be now.
Okay. All right.
Whether it's giving or receiving.
Have you given?
There's been a time or two.
That's what's going on out there?
Oh, yeah, out in the world. Absolutely.
A little pegging?
A little pegging.
You
it wasn't
into that?
actually at the moment that I'm thinking of wasn't little, but yeah.
All right. Well, tell me about that. Was that per your request or his?
No, it actually wasn't. There was a guy that I actually went to high school with. Sorry. There was a guy. There was a guy that I went to high school with, and always really, really cute. Had a huge crush on him, and he was dating this girl, wild girl. And I remember like going out drinking one night and went back to his place. One thing led to another. Next morning, woke up, figured he went to work, whatever. Of course, me being the sweet little Georgia girl that I am.
You snooping around his
No, I
medicine
wasn't
cabinets?
snooping. I was looking for my clothes, and I just happened to look under the bed. And I found a strap-on.
Was it like dusty and like unused,
No, it wasn't.
or was it,
it
like?
was like crusty.
Did you smell it?
No, I didn't. But it was fucking 18 inches.
18 inches is large and in charge. Girthy, like a girthy
Like
18?
it was long. It was I will never forget that moment. I will never forget that moment for as long as I live.
Did you try it on?
No, fuck no. I ran
Come
as fast as I
on.
fucking could. I was like, this is not going in me. I'm not doing this. This is crazy. And he was a good old Georgia Southern boy too.
That's
Like-
where they get you.
Fucking hog hunting, gigging, all that kind of shit. I'm like,
Deceiving.
I mean, how deceiving if it's like in plain
That's-
sight.
it was like straight under the bed. Like there was like a pillow just.
Did you find your clothes at least? Did you find your clothes at least?
Yeah.
All right, good.
And his roommate was my first boyfriend's best friend.
Did he know about this?
Yes.
He had to have. He had to have heard it.
He had to have heard it. The stretch. That's wild.
That's
I
kind
will
of crazy.
never forget that moment. I remember like literally going home and like being like, what the fuck?
And you never went back there?
Never.
Not even
couldn't.
a little curious.
I'm not even a little curious. Not even.
What?
As
How
in-
big would it have had to have been for you to have been interested in
Pegging or receiving?
pegging? Couldn't
I would
imagine
have
you'd
honestly
be.
been interested if I would have liked the guy, actually liked him. I think that I would have, just to find it interesting, just to have that story. But that was a good story enough.
I feel like it'd be opposite. I feel like it'd be like, this guy was an asshole to me, so I'm gonna ruin him. I'm gonna fucking destroy him.
He wasn't. Well, that's what I would.
I can't imagine you like somebody and you're
Emily,
like,
today Emily would have done it for the plot, like whole story, everything.
oh, this was before you were tainted.
I was.
this was like
oh yeah,
sweet
this was
Emily.
like sweet Emily,
Okay.
which was a very fucking long time ago.
Okay. All right. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
There was a time where, like, even before I went back, I just recently kind of gotten back to sweet Emily.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Better than ever. Because I still have that tainted side of me where I'm just like,
You can dabble on both ends.
yeah, fuck with me. See what happens.
Okay. Well,
I'm
I
the
think
true, real version of fuck around and find out.
well, that's kind of what it sounds like here. Savage over here.
Going from like corporate to this.
Oh, yeah. They're, like I said, they're all sides. Go a little sprinkle.
All right. Well, I don't know if I
Speechless.
have any follow-up questions after that 18-inch crusty strap on.
I was so I was so scared. Also, like, was your penis just not big enough? Like, did you have to?
I don't think he was wearing that. I think that's where you're confused.
But that's my question. Like, was your penis not big enough for somebody? Like, and then you were like, well, I'm buying it for her for me to fuck her. But
No,
like,
no.
Also,
See, this is there's no question
I know,
here.
but then also they could flip.
It's flipped is what it is. He's taking that. He's not using that. No man uses a strap on. What would be the point? There's no and what
I
like
still have so many questions.
there's no
It's
stimulation there.
It's like 8 years later, and I'm still like,
Well, I'm here to answer him for you. He was not wearing that.
You were calling,
was
let's call him.
hoping he was hoping that you would wear that. He wanted you to
fucking
put
hope
that on
not.
and take control.
and both of his ex-girlfriends were crazy as fuck. I remember them
Well.
fighting. I remember them fighting in the parking lot and one of the girls getting in her truck and trying to run the other girl over.
That's the kind of girl that would put an 18-inch strap on and go to town.
Shit's wild.
See, you were too scared.
I was.
You saw that thing and you ran.
I might do it now, but if you put that in front, like if I was to go home with somebody, yeah, no, absolutely not. If I wouldn't. No, no.
Well, I mean, if we're on the subject, what's your type? Do you have a type? Is there a specific kind of man that gets you going?
Yes. I used to be very like, sounds weird, but very similar to me, very athletic, dark hair, dark eyes, tattooed heavily, and that just recently changed.
What did it change because you've had bad luck with that type of individual?
I met someone.
Oh, you're with somebody.
Yeah,
now.
I have a boyfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's not tattooed and tall and dark haired.
Okay, he's definitely tall, dark, and handsome, but he's not tattooed.
Okay. Clean cut.
Clean cut, very clean cut. Yeah. And when I met him, I was just like, there's no way. But I was just like, that's it.
How did he woo you? How did he swoo you?
I wooed him.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Take me through it. Tell me what happened.
Ooh. So, my very, very, very best friend, my like back home girl best friend, she was supposed to come to Chicago. She had to change of plans. And then she was going to go to Las Vegas the next day. And I said, well, I'll just come with you. And 2 days into Vegas, she has some work stuff to do. I'm sitting by the pool, whatever, here nor there. And the company that I worked for in Florida also has a restaurant in Las Vegas. I thought that it was in the Caesar's Palace. Actually, long story short, it was actually in the Bellagio. We're walking all around Caesar's Palace, and I was like, I need a fucking drink. So we go into, I think it's called Peter something Steakhouse within Las Vegas. And we're sitting down. It's my best friend, her coworker, me at the bar. There's like, for context, it will come on later, but there's a wall right beside my best friend, a seat in between me, and then my now boyfriend. And we're drinking whatever else, and I like look at my best friend, and I looked at him, like looked over again, and then I was like, I'm gonna marry him. Like, that's my husband.
Really? But he's not your type. So like, what was
I don't know. It was like an instant, like, I don't know. Like, I saw him and I was just like,
was it a soulmate kind of situation?
It was like a soulmate situation. Like, I was just like, that's it. And for context as well, as of the end of this month, I'll actually be, if me and him wouldn't have gotten together a couple months ago, I would have actually been single for 7 years.
7 years. That's a strong run.
It's a strong run.
You're up there with me.
Yeah.
I think I went a solid 6.
Yeah. We'll get to that for sure, because I definitely want to know. But I'll kind of make it long story short. Goes through his whole meal, and this man can eat, and I'm a big.
You're like watching him eat out of the corner of your eye.
No,
you haven't spoken to him yet?
I was like, how much can this man put down? It's like full salad, appetizer, full entree, baked potatoes, sliced potatoes, huge ribeye.
This is before you spoke with him.
You're still just... And I'm just like watching. And I'm like out the corner of my eye. My best friend's coworker ends up leaving. She ends up scooting next to me. There was a couple that came in, and they asked to sit down, and I go, which way would you like to sit? Because there's a wall right here, seat my best friend and I, seat him.
Right.
And I'm like, please want to sit by the wall. Please want to sit by the wall. She goes, actually, I want to sit by the wall. Perfect. So I scoot down next to him. I, of course, ask him, polite, anyone sitting next to you? No, whatever. Obviously, I already knew that. There's nobody coming. And he ends up getting dessert. 2 desserts, mind you. Like I said, I was impressed at this moment. Like, it wasn't like watching him eat. Like, it was like, holy, how much are you gonna fucking eat? He like has a old fashioned.
Were you kind of into that though? Is that like this is a man?
And this is a man.
This is a fucking man.
This is a man
who could eat.
I know. And I love to eat. And I don't want to be like, I'm not going to go on a first date and be like, I'll take the salad. Bitch, no. I'm getting a fucking appetizer,
Ribeye?
ribeye,
Oh, yeah.
burger. Like, I love to eat, you know? And sorry to any man who's been on a first date with me and had to pay my bill.
Yeah, right? They're like, what the fuck?
He's like, what the fuck? And so anyways, fast forward, gets dessert, gets a espresso martini with him, me being the bartender that I am. I finally said something to him and I go, that espresso martini looks amazing. And he goes, thanks. Like, it's actually really, really good. Fast forward. He goes, actually, my favorite espresso martini is actually in Parlor Bar in New York. Fast forward, conversation, really great conversation. We're kind of like going like back and forth. My best friend is now kind of in conversation. And she's like on the phone. So I'm like having like kind of really, really good one-on-one, perfect conversation. Best friend turns over, knocks my espresso martini that he had just gotten me all over my white pants.
Damn, now you guys got to go back to the room so you can change.
Wow. And nothing happened. He was very, very respectful. And there was nothing to it. And of course got my number. He ended up having to go back home, lives in New Jersey.
Oh, this is why you're going to Jersey. So it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Then.
And then so kind of not really fast forward, but a couple weeks later, he had called me and he goes, can I be selfish? And I go, absolutely. He goes, I'm going to San Diego in a couple weeks. Do you want to come with me? And I go, absolutely. Flew to San Diego, saw him for the second time, been inseparable ever since.
And how long ago was that?
That was in May. So not too long ago.
Not too long ago, but it's been long distance, right?
Yeah. And we'll be long distance until April.
It's actually May's like super not long ago at all. Mm-mm. It's been like 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very, very, very short time.
How's the long distance relationship? That's tough.
It's tough. It is. We're both we're pretty good at it. Of course, I've been single for a very, very long time, and then he's ex-military. So he was very, very used to it as well. But yeah, I was single for a really, really long time. My last relationship was in Augusta.
And were you single because you're like, I don't want, like, I'm work focused. I don't want distractions. I don't want to have to dedicate any time to anybody.
There was a lot
going full.
Yeah, there was a lot of lot of equal denominators in that. I was very focused on my career. I had never wanted to get married, never wanted to have children. I still hold that. And
you never want to get married, meaning like you'll take a ring from this man potentially and like dedicate your life to him, but you don't want to get governmentally married with a license and things. I used to feel that way.
Yeah. I think that it didn't change by much, but I knew that I did want to be with this person. He's changed my life in a lot of the better. And I've done the same for him. So it was just one of those things where I was just like, wow, like maybe this person could change my mind. He has 3 beautiful girls. So I have, if this works out, I have 3 beautiful stepdaughters.
All right. So you kind of get kids without having to, grow one inside of yourself. That's kind of tight.
And then if we were to ever have a kid of our own, we would adopt a boy. Just because I've always, if I was to ever have a kid, I would always adopt. And then I would adopt a boy because...
If you're adopting, do you get to choose where they're from, or do you kind of just like sign up?
But I have a feeling that it is. I feel like there's different levels. I feel like you can get approved for different whatever. I feel like if it's... but honestly, I haven't really looked into it.
Okay.
I would like to maybe later on in the years. But as of right now, absolutely not.
Yeah. I always told my mom growing up that I was never going to get married and I wanted to get a monkey as a child instead of having a baby.
How did that work out?
Things have changed pretty drastically over the years, but that was always my vision as a young man.
Yeah, my dad always said, he was just like, He was like, am I ever going to get it? Fuck no. Nope.
Are you an only child?
I was an only child, only grandchild. Yep. Not spoiled. I wish. I fucking wish. I work for everything I have, unfortunately. I wish
Yeah.
it was just here. But yeah.
Well, I mean, you wish that, but you're a better person
Oh, yeah.
not having that,
Yeah.
I think, you know?
Yeah. I loved the rough moments that I went through in my life. I loved being broke. That was great.
Yeah, finding that 18-incher
Oh,
really makes someone
really makes someone who
character
they are.
development, you know?
Yeah. I swear to God, I'll kill myself if I get a phone call after this podcast comes out.
Well, I think we'll throw it on the Patreon. So if he wants to see it, he's gonna have to sign up.
Yeah. I'll create an OnlyFans just for this.
Yeah, did you do that over the pandemic?
I did. I still have one.
You do?
Yeah. I don't use it.
It's just out. It's just
it's-
there. If
it's just
someone
there.
finds it, they can pay for it.
Yeah. I don't think I've posted in like almost 2 years. I'll talk back if I get a message or something like that, if I finally like think about it. But I'll go on there. Like I actually went on there like I think it was a couple of days ago or last week or something like that. And I had like just like $400 or $500 just sitting in there, and I was just like,
Not too shabby.
I was like, for me not posting, perfect.
Well, alright. Battle raps cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so thin. That's what I love about the human soul. It'll usually show when the truth ain't told. Use a lie.